Hey, welcome folks. Do you have one of these quick closing toilet valves inside your toilet tank? Most of you probably do, because the days of the old brass rod and copper ball on the end are long gone. Those valves used to fill up relatively slowly, and if you had high water pressure in the area, you didn't have to worry about banging when they shut. But when these puppies shut, they shut like a car slamming into a brick wall, and sometimes that could wreak havoc on your plumbing system. Now, I recently discovered a way to eliminate that bang without having to throttle down the water pressure. So if you're interested in something like that, stick around. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome folks. Bob here from Bob'sPlumbingVideos.com. On this channel, I provide free plumbing tutorials for people who don't want to call a plumber. No scientific data, no fancy chemical breakdown of the materials I use in these videos, just common sense solutions to everyday plumbing problems. After all, folks, you shouldn't have to take out a mortgage to be able to afford a plumber. If you're new to the channel, I highly recommend you subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification so you'll be notified of when I post a new video. Now, let's get into this video. So believe it or not, I looked and I didn't have any old school ball cocks in stock. I wanted to show you one up on the bench, but I didn't have any. I probably got rid of a lot of stuff. And so I went online, downloaded this image, and basically the water would come in from the bottom where that nut is. That's where you would connect the water supply. Water would go up to the top, travel down that right tube. The water would go in the bottom of the tank, and as it rose, it would hit the bottom of that black plastic ball. As the ball went up, it would close slowly. It was a gradual closing. So even in a high water pressure situation, you didn't have the issue with the banging. Onto the market, quick closing valves. Fluidmaster, the most recognizable name probably, and they were great. You eliminated that rod and ball. But when they got to a certain level, they would just shut. And if you had high water pressure, it was like a car slamming into a brick wall. And if you didn't have water hammer arresters on your plumbing system, it would cause a problem. You'd get this big bang. And if the pipes inside the wall weren't secure, I mean, you can actually hear them rattle around. And, you know, the long-term effect would be damage to the plumbing system. In today's world, water hammer arresters are required equipment. Back in the old days, in a lot of the old homes I work on, there are no water hammer arresters. And so if you had a high water pressure situation and you now install a quick closing toilet refill valve, a problem happens. My solution prior to the water hammer arrestor I'm going to show you on the bench was to throttle down the valve on the inlet to the toilet, which would solve the problem, but it created another problem. People would complain, I don't have any more banging, but the toilet is taking so long to fill up. Well, I don't have that problem anymore because I found this Sioux-Chief water hammer arrestor that can be installed directly on the inlet to the toilet tank, and I'm going to show you that on the bench. So without further ado, let's jump down to the bench. I'll jump down to the bench. I'll show you what it is. And then we'll go over to my little display and I'll show you how to install it on your toilet tank. So here it is, folks. This is the mini arrestor by a company called Sioux-Chief. It's a little water hammer arrestor that gets installed on the inlet to the refill valve of the toilet tank. So normally, you would have the water supply going directly into the bottom of the refill valve. You would remove that. You would place this on the refill valve, and you could position this water hammer chamber either to the left or to the right. You won't be able to go straight back because it'll hit the wall. I usually face it off to the right, somewhere between the back of the toilet and the wall. Then I connect it to the refill valve, and then I just reconnect my water supply here, and problem solved. Now when that fast shutting valve shuts, no more water hammer. Real quickly, I'll bring up the packaging. Again, Sioux-Chief makes a variety of water hammer arresters for a variety of applications. This particular water hammer arrestor is not approved for use for potable water, meaning you cannot put this anywhere where you're going to be drinking or consuming potable water. And when I purchased this online, I actually had to check off a box to that effect. So unless you plan on drinking water out of your toilet tank, you are not allowed to use this. So with that being said, let's go over to my little toilet tank, and I'll show you how to install this on your toilet. So essentially, this is relatively easy to put in. Not brain surgery, folks. So first thing you're going to want to do is go down and shut your water supply off to the toilet refill valve. And if you don't have a shut-off valve here, you're going to have to go down and shut off the water main. Anyway, I do have a video about that, and you can check that out, how to shut the water main off. I'll link that in the cards up above. Anyway, so we're going to shut this off to the right. And in this case, I'm fairly confident it's going to work. A, because this is not live, it's a display, and B, because this is a new valve. Anyway, so we're going to proceed to disconnect the existing water supply. And we'll put that off to the side. Then we will take our Sioux-Chief water hammer arrestor, and I like to face mine off to the left, but the choice is yours. Kind of tuck it out of the way, if you will. You can hear it hitting the wall there. I mean, you could place it up against the wall if you like, but I like to put it somewhere comfortably between the back of the toilet and the wall, as you can see it over here. Once you snug that up with your tool of choice, whether it be a channel lock pliers or a little 6-inch pipe wrench, you simply are going to have to take this water supply and basically reconnect it. Now, I hate these stainless steel flexible things because aesthetically they're horrible looking. And I'm old school, and I generally use a solid copper supply because I can cut it and make it pretty looking. I use one of these. This is my preferred way of doing things. Excuse me. So I could custom cut this to fit there, and I have a video about that also. So, but in today's world, we're using these flexible stainless steel things. But folks, that's it. You now have solved the problem of that fill valve shutting off so quickly that it's going to cause a bang. It's relatively inexpensive, and I think it's a great little item. And if you're experiencing that problem with your toilet banging when it shuts off, by all means, I recommend putting one of these Sioux-Chief water hammer arresters in. And folks, that's it, man. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got some value out of it. And I will see you again real soon. So there you go, guys. An inexpensive fix to a potentially damaging problem. Folks, I'm glad you stopped by my channel. As always, I know you have choices when looking for plumbing advice, and I'm sure glad you stopped here. If you're getting value out of these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of when I post a new video. But more importantly, hit that like button. When you hit that like button, YouTube pushes these videos out in front of more eyes. They can save more people money because then they don't have to call a guy like me. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. And don't forget, keep an eye out for one of these two videos that are going to pop up here to your right. One of them I chose, one of them YouTube chose. Folks, I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. Stay well. And as always, happy plumbing.